Ladies and gentlemen, relationships are the essence of life. They're not just about romance or family, they are the cornerstone of everything we do. The quality of your relationships determines the quality of your life. You can have all the success, all the wealth, all the recognition in the world, but if your relationships are broken or unfulfilling, there's an emptiness that nothing else can fill. Now, let's talk about the real magic behind a great relationship. It's not luck. It's not something that just happens. Relationships thrive when you put in the work, when you nurture them, when you commit to growth. It's about connection. Not surface level connection, but that deep soul stirring connection where you see someone for who they truly are and you let them see your strengths, your vulnerabilities, your everything. One of the most important things you can do in any relationship is to understand the power of intention. What are you bringing to the table? Are you there to give or to take? Because let me tell you, if you're showing up only for what you can get, you've already lost. The most powerful relationships are built on a foundation of giving, of contribution. When you shift from what's in it for me to what can I do for you, everything changes. And let's not ignore the role of communication, but not just any communication, the kind that's honest, heartfelt, and courageous. That means having the tough conversations. That means listening not just with your ears, but with your heart. When someone feels truly heard, truly seen, it transforms the relationship. But here's the kicker: we often blame others for our relationship struggles. They don't understand me. They don't make me happy. Let me be real with you. Your happiness is your responsibility. When you bring a fulfilled, vibrant version of yourself into a relationship, you inspire the same in others. You become the light, the energy that lifts them higher. And lastly, let's talk about growth. If a relationship isn't growing, it's dying. Growth is the oxygen that keeps a relationship alive. You've got to grow together, to learn together, to dream together. Challenge each other, push each other, but always do it with love. Every relationship is an opportunity to love deeper, to connect stronger, and to become more. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. Keep showing up, keep giving, and keep growing. Because in the end, relationships aren't something you master once. They're a journey you commit to every single day. The quality of your relationships determines the quality of your life. Think about this: no matter how much success you achieve in your career, how much wealth you accumulate, or how much recognition you receive, none of it will feel truly fulfilling if your relationships are in disarray. Why? Because as human beings, we are wired for connection. Our deepest joys, our greatest growth, and even our sense of purpose are deeply tied to the people we surround ourselves with. When your relationships are strong, they act as a foundation, a source of energy, inspiration, and stability. They lift you during tough times and amplify your victories during good times. But when relationships are strained or neglected, it can feel like the ground beneath you is crumbling, no matter how well things seem to be going in other areas of life. This isn't just about romantic relationships. It includes family, friends, co-workers, and even the relationship you have with yourself. Every connection you nurture or neglect contributes to the quality of your emotional life. Imagine being surrounded by people who understand, support, and believe in you. That's the kind of environment where you thrive. So the question to ask yourself is, are you putting in the effort to make your relationships extraordinary? Are you showing up as your best self? Because at the end of the day, the richness of your life will always be a reflection of the depth and strength of the connections you've built. Relationships are built, not found. They require consistent effort. Too often, people believe that great relationships just happen, that if you meet the right person or find the perfect friend, everything will fall into place effortlessly. But the truth is, every meaningful relationship is the result of intentional effort, patience, and commitment. Think about a strong, towering tree. It didn't grow overnight. It started as a seed, nurtured with water, sunlight, and care over years. Relationships are no different. They require ongoing attention and energy to thrive. You can't expect a bond to grow stronger if you neglect it or assume it will take care of itself. This effort shows up in the small things, the daily check-ins, the thoughtful gestures, and being present when someone needs you. It's about showing up even when it's inconvenient or uncomfortable. Relationships are not immune to challenges. They're tested by disagreements, misunderstandings, and external pressures. But it's how you handle those challenges that defines whether the connection strengthens or breaks. Building a relationship means being willing to invest in it consistently. It's about giving your time, your attention, and your heart, even when it feels like you're too busy or life gets in the way. And when both sides commit to building together, something incredible happens: a bond that's resilient, fulfilling, and deeply rewarding. Connection thrives on vulnerability. Show your authentic self. True connection isn't built on pretense or perfection. It's not about hiding behind a mask or showing only the parts of yourself that you think others will accept. Real connection happens when you have the courage to show up as your authentic self, flaws, fears, strengths, and all. Vulnerability is often misunderstood as weakness, but in reality, it's a profound source of strength. When you open up and share what's real for you, whether it's your struggles, your dreams, or your insecurities, you create space for the other person to do the same. It's in that space of honesty and rawness that trust is born, and trust is the foundation of every meaningful relationship. Think about the moments when you felt truly close to someone. Chances are those moments weren't about shared achievements or surface-level conversations. They were about sharing something deeply personal, something that made you feel seen and accepted for who you are. That's the power of vulnerability. It strips away barriers and brings people closer together. But let's be real, vulnerability can be scary. It requires stepping into uncertainty and risking rejection. Yet the alternative, hiding your true self, leads to shallow connections and a sense of isolation, even when surrounded by people. When you dare to be vulnerable, you inspire others to do the same. It's an invitation to authenticity, a chance to build connections that aren't just strong but unshakable. Because in the end, the relationships that matter most are the ones where you can be fully, unapologetically yourself. Give more than you expect to receive. Contribution fuels connection. The heartbeat of any thriving relationship is the spirit of giving, not because you have to, but because you genuinely want to. When you focus on how you can contribute to someone's life, rather than keeping score of what you're getting in return, the entire dynamic transforms. Relationships built on contribution rather than transaction become deeper, richer, and far more fulfilling. Think about it. Have you ever done something meaningful for someone, not expecting anything back, and felt a wave of joy and connection? That's the magic of giving. It's a reminder that relationships aren't about me. They're about we. This isn't just about grand gestures. It's about the little things that make people feel valued. A kind word, a listening ear, or even just being fully present can have a profound impact. When you give authentically, whether it's your time, energy, or love, you create a ripple effect. People feel your sincerity, and that energy inspires them to give back, creating a cycle of generosity and trust. But let's be clear, giving doesn't mean overextending yourself or neglecting your own needs. It's about showing up with a genuine desire to make the other person's life better, knowing that the act of giving enriches your life too. When you lead with contribution, relationships stop being about obligations and expectations. They become opportunities to create moments of joy, connection, and mutual growth. And in those moments, you'll realize that the act of giving is its own reward. Your intentions define your relationships. Focus on adding value. Every relationship is shaped by the energy and purpose you bring into it. Your intentions are like the roots of a tree. They determine the strength and depth of the connection. When your primary intention is to add value to someone's life, the relationship naturally flourishes. Too often, people approach relationships with a mindset of what can I get? Validation, support, or love. But the most extraordinary relationships are born when you flip that script to what can I give? This shift in focus creates an entirely different dynamic. It moves the connection from self-serving to genuinely uplifting. Ask yourself, what are you bringing into your relationships? Are you offering kindness, understanding, and encouragement? Or are you unintentionally holding back, waiting for the other person to take the lead? When your intention is pure to lift, support, and inspire, you set the stage for trust and mutual respect to thrive. But let's not confuse this with self-sacrifice. Adding value doesn't mean neglecting your own needs or boundaries. It's about creating a balance where you contribute positively without losing sight of your own well-being. Remember, people feel your intentions. They sense whether you're there to build or take. And when your presence is rooted in love, authenticity, and contribution, it creates a magnetic energy. This is the kind of energy that deepens bonds, resolves conflicts, and transforms relationships into something truly extraordinary. Communication is key. Listen to understand, not to respond. If there's one skill that can elevate every relationship in your life, it's the ability to communicate effectively. But here's the secret: great communication isn't just about speaking, it's about listening. And not just hearing the words, but truly understanding the emotions, intentions, and needs behind them. Too often we listen with the intent to reply. We're already formulating our response before the other person has finished speaking. This creates a disconnect. The person speaking doesn't feel heard, and the conversation becomes a back and forth exchange of words rather than a meaningful connection. When you listen to understand, everything changes. It means pausing, being fully present, and focusing entirely on the other person. It's about putting aside your assumptions and truly stepping into their world. This kind of listening doesn't just build understanding, it builds trust, empathy, and respect. Great communication also requires clarity. Be honest, direct, and kind. Say what you mean and mean what you say, but always deliver your words with compassion. Tough conversations are inevitable in any relationship, but when approached with the intention to understand and resolve, they strengthen rather than weaken the bond. Finally, remember that communication is not just verbal. Your tone, body language, and actions often speak louder than your words. Be mindful of the signals you're sending as they shape how your message is received. When you master the art of listening to understand, you create a space where people feel safe, valued, and seen. And in that space, relationships don't just survive, they thrive. Honest conversations create stronger bonds, avoid sugarcoating. One of the most powerful ways to build trust and intimacy in any relationship is through honesty, raw, unfiltered honesty. Too often we avoid difficult conversations because we fear hurting someone's feelings or creating conflict. But let me tell you, avoiding the truth only leads to deeper misunderstandings, resentments, and distance. The truth can be uncomfortable, but it's also freeing. When you are open, direct, and truthful with those you care about, you lay the foundation for deeper connection. Sugarcoating or withholding what's on your mind might seem like a way to protect someone in the short term, but in the long run, it prevents real growth and understanding. Honesty isn't about being blunt or harsh. It's about being clear, compassionate, and respectful while still telling the truth. It's about having the courage to say what needs to be said, even when it's tough. And just as importantly, it's about being open to receiving truth from others as well. When you encourage honesty, you create a safe space where both parties can be vulnerable and grow together. Honest conversations might be challenging at first, but they strengthen relationships by building trust. They show that you're not afraid to deal with the hard stuff, and they signal that you value the relationship enough to confront issues head on. When you choose honesty over comfort, you choose depth over superficiality. And in the end, it's the real, honest connections that matter most. Happiness in relationships starts with taking responsibility for your own. One of the most important lessons in mastering relationships is realizing that your happiness is your responsibility. Too often, people enter relationships with the expectation that the other person will fulfill their emotional needs, fix their problems, or make them happy. But the truth is, relying on someone else to provide your happiness is a recipe for disappointment. When you take responsibility for your own joy, you stop placing the burden of your emotional well-being on others. You realize that your happiness comes from within, and no one else is responsible for creating that sense of fulfillment. This doesn't mean you don't need or appreciate the support of others. It simply means that you don't depend on them to define your emotional state. When you own your happiness, you bring a healthier, more balanced version of yourself into the relationship. You're not looking for someone to complete you because you're already complete. You're not trying to fill an emotional void or rely on external validation. Instead, you show up with love, kindness, and positivity, ready to share your joy with others. Taking responsibility for your happiness also means acknowledging when you need to make changes in your life. If you're feeling stuck or unhappy, ask yourself, what can I do to change this? What habits or mindsets do I need to shift? By taking ownership of your emotions and your actions, you create an environment where positive, fulfilling relationships can thrive. When both partners in a relationship are responsible for their own happiness, they can come together in a much more powerful way, creating a relationship where both individuals grow, support each other, and experience deep fulfillment. Blame destroys relationships. Take ownership instead. In any relationship, blame is a relationship killer. It creates walls instead of bridges, fuels resentment instead of understanding, and ultimately leads to disconnection. The moment we start pointing fingers and blaming others for our problems or frustrations, we stop taking responsibility for our own role in the relationship. Blaming others, whether it's your partner, friend, or family member, creates a cycle of defensiveness. Instead of addressing the issue at hand, both people become more focused on who's at fault. This shifts the energy from problem solving to protecting egos. The result? The relationship becomes stagnant and the real issue gets buried. Now contrast that with taking ownership. When you take responsibility for your part in a situation, you open the door for growth and resolution. Ownership isn't about assigning fault to yourself. It's about recognizing that you have control over your actions, responses, and how you contribute to the relationship. Taking ownership means saying things like, I could have communicated better, or I understand how my actions affected you. It's about acknowledging your role without shame or defensiveness. It's empowering because it allows you to focus on what you can do to improve the situation rather than being stuck in a cycle of blame. When both people in a relationship take ownership of their actions, even when things go wrong, trust and respect grow. It shows maturity, vulnerability, and a commitment to growth, both individually and as a couple or team. Remember, blame keeps you stuck, while ownership opens the door to progress. In relationships, it's not about who's right or wrong. It's about what you can do together to create a stronger, healthier bond. Growth is essential. Relationships thrive when both partners evolve. One of the most powerful forces that can strengthen a relationship is mutual growth. If a relationship isn't growing, it's at risk of stagnation. Think about it just as plants need sunlight, water, and care to flourish, relationships need growth to thrive. Growth isn't just about external achievements or changes, it's about evolving as individuals and as a partnership. When both partners are committed to their own personal development, the relationship automatically becomes more dynamic. You become better versions of yourselves, which positively impacts the connection you share. Personal growth can take many forms, whether it's emotional growth, developing new skills, gaining self-awareness, or simply learning how to be a better communicator. As you evolve, you bring new energy and perspectives to the relationship. However, growth doesn't always mean smooth sailing. It's natural to face challenges, and these challenges can actually strengthen the bond when both partners support each other's growth. It's about learning together, navigating difficulties, and becoming stronger because of them. When you grow together, you create a foundation of shared experiences and mutual respect. On the other hand, if one partner remains stagnant or resists growth, it can create tension. A relationship based on comfort rather than progress can lead to frustration, dissatisfaction, and emotional distance. That's why it's vital to support each other's growth, not just in your own personal lives, but also in how you relate to one another. When you commit to growth, you create a space where both partners feel inspired, valued, and connected. You evolve not only as individuals, but also as a team, ready to face whatever life throws your way. And that's the key to a thriving, lasting relationship, one that continues to grow and evolve for years to come. Appreciate the small things. Gratitude strengthens bonds. In any relationship, it's easy to focus on the big events or grand gestures. But in reality, it's the small, everyday acts of appreciation that truly strengthen a bond. Too often, we take the little things for granted, the simple moments of kindness, the everyday support, and the shared laughter. Yet these are the things that weave the fabric of a lasting connection. When you express gratitude for the small things, whether it's a thoughtful gesture, a kind word, or simply someone showing up for you, it deepens the emotional connection between you. When people feel appreciated, they feel seen and valued, and that fuels a stronger relationship. It's easy to overlook the significance of the small acts, but when you stop and take notice, you realize how much they matter. Gratitude also shifts your mindset. When you start acknowledging and appreciating the positive aspects of your relationship, you naturally begin to focus on the things that are going right, rather than the things that might be going wrong. This fosters a positive environment where both people feel encouraged and loved. It's the little moments like a shared smile, a spontaneous compliment, or a simple thank you for something that might seem minor that add up over time. These moments create an atmosphere of warmth and positivity, making both partners feel good about the relationship and one another. By consistently showing appreciation for the small things, you foster a culture of gratitude. And when both partners practice gratitude, it not only strengthens the relationship, but also enhances individual happiness. Appreciation isn't just an act, it's a mindset. And when gratitude becomes a part of your daily interactions, you'll find your relationship becoming deeper, more fulfilling, and more resilient. Love isn't static, it's a verb that requires consistent action. Love isn't something that happens once and stays the same. It's a living, breathing force that requires ongoing attention, care, and action. Too many people think that love is a feeling that will always be there without effort, but the truth is that love is something you must actively cultivate and nurture. Think about it. When you truly love someone, you don't just tell them, you show them consistently. You don't wait for love to magically appear, you make it happen through your actions. Love is in the little things you do every day, whether it's checking in with them, offering support, sharing a laugh, or simply being present when they need you. The moment love becomes passive, when you stop showing it through your actions, that's when relationships begin to fade. Love requires effort. It's about showing up even when things aren't perfect, doing the hard work, and committing to growth as individuals and as a couple. Love is a verb. It's a decision you make each day to act in ways that honor and strengthen the relationship. It's about choosing to be kind when it's easier to be frustrated. It's about choosing to listen when you want to speak. It's about supporting your partner's dreams, encouraging them during tough times, and celebrating their victories. This is why love isn't something that can be taken for granted. It thrives on attention, appreciation, and consistent effort. When you actively choose to love and express it daily, your relationship becomes a living example of what deep, enduring love looks like. And that's what makes it powerful. It's not just a feeling, it's a dynamic, ongoing process that gets stronger the more you invest in it. Empathy bridges gaps. See the world through their eyes. Empathy is the cornerstone of connection in any relationship. It's the ability to step into someone else's shoes, to understand not only what they're saying, but also what they're feeling and experiencing. When you truly practice empathy, you stop making assumptions and instead you approach others with an open heart and mind. In relationships, it's easy to get caught up in your own perspective, the way you see things, the way you feel. But the real magic happens when you make the conscious effort to understand where the other person is coming from. It's not just about hearing their words, but also reading between the lines, paying attention to their body language, and tuning into their emotions. Empathy means being fully present for someone, acknowledging their struggles, joys, and perspectives. When you listen with empathy, you validate their experience, showing them that you respect and care about their point of view. This creates a safe, open space where both people feel understood and supported, even when they don't agree. It's in moments of conflict that empathy truly shows its power. Rather than jumping into a defensive mode, asking why are they upset with me or how can I prove I'm right, ask yourself what is going on for them right now. Understanding that someone's emotions or behavior is rooted in their own experiences, whether it's stress, fear, or past pain, allows you to approach the situation with compassion instead of judgment. Empathy builds bridges while judgment builds walls. It allows you to connect with others at a deeper level, even in the most challenging moments. When both people practice empathy, they develop a sense of mutual respect and trust that is vital for any relationship to flourish. And when you genuinely try to see the world through someone else's eyes, you'll be amazed at how much more connected, supportive, and harmonious your relationships can become. Respect each other's boundaries. Healthy relationships are built on mutual understanding. One of the most important aspects of any healthy relationship is understanding and respecting each other's boundaries. Boundaries are not barriers to connection. They are the guidelines that allow both people to feel safe, valued, and respected. Without clear boundaries, relationships can quickly become draining, unhealthy, or imbalanced. Boundaries are not just physical, they extend to emotional, mental, and even social space. They define what each person is comfortable with, what they need to feel supported, and where they need their personal space. When boundaries are respected, people feel safe to be themselves, express their feelings, and grow individually without fear of overstep or neglect. Respecting boundaries requires communication. It means actively listening when someone shares their limits and being willing to honor them, even when it's difficult or inconvenient. It's about recognizing that every person has their own needs and preferences, and that those needs are valid, even if they differ from your own. For example, if someone needs time alone to recharge, it's important not to take that personally. It's about understanding that their need for space isn't a reflection of how they feel about you. It's simply part of how they manage their energy. Likewise, if someone expresses a need for emotional support or personal space during difficult times, respecting those requests is key to maintaining a healthy and thriving relationship. When both partners respect each other's boundaries, they create a space where trust can flourish. There's no pressure to conform, no fear of being overwhelmed or misunderstood. It allows for deeper intimacy and connection because both individuals feel safe to be vulnerable and authentic without the fear of crossing an invisible line. Boundaries are essential for emotional and psychological well-being. When you respect them, you show care, trust, and consideration for the other person's feelings and needs. In turn, this fosters a deeper and more secure and lasting bond. Forgiveness frees both people, let go of grudges to move forward. Forgiveness is one of the most powerful tools you have in building strong, lasting relationships. When we hold on to anger, resentment, or grudges, we weigh ourselves down. We carry the weight of past hurts, and it affects our present and future interactions. Forgiveness, on the other hand, is an act of liberation. It frees you from the past and creates space for healing, growth, and deeper connection. Forgiving doesn't mean forgetting or excusing someone's actions. It means choosing to let go of the emotional burden that keeps you stuck. It's an act of self-care. Not just for the person you forgive, but for you as well. When you hold on to negative emotions, you allow them to control you, cloud your judgment, and drain your energy. But forgiveness breaks that cycle, allowing you to move forward with a lighter heart and a clearer mind. Forgiveness also allows the relationship to evolve. Holding on to past mistakes prevents growth. If you're constantly bringing up old wounds or using past conflicts to justify current behavior, you're trapped in a cycle that can never break. True healing happens when both parties are willing to forgive, learn from the experience, and commit to doing better in the future. It's important to remember that forgiveness is a process, not a one-time event. It takes time, reflection, and a willingness to let go of the pain. Sometimes it's a matter of choosing to forgive every time the hurt resurfaces until it no longer has power over you. Forgiving someone is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself in your relationship. It clears the air, rebuilds trust, and strengthens the bond between both individuals. It creates space for more love, understanding, and growth to flow freely. And when both people embrace forgiveness, they can move forward with a stronger, healthier connection. Celebrate each other's successes, lift each other up, don't compete. In a truly supportive relationship, both people should be able to celebrate each other's successes without jealousy, comparison, or competition. When we lift each other up, we create an environment where both individuals feel encouraged, valued, and inspired to reach for greater heights. In contrast, when one person feels threatened by the other's success or doesn't show genuine support, it creates a sense of competition that can erode trust and intimacy. Celebrating success isn't just about big achievements, it's about recognizing and appreciating each other's efforts and growth, no matter how small. Whether it's a personal goal reached, a project completed, or a simple act of courage, showing enthusiasm for your partner's accomplishments helps build a sense of partnership and mutual respect. When you genuinely celebrate each other's victories, you strengthen the emotional bond between you. You show that you are on the same team, rooting for each other's growth and happiness. It's a powerful reminder that the relationship isn't about individual wins or losses, it's about both people thriving together. It's also important to remember that celebration goes hand in hand with humility. Being able to cheer for your partner's success without making it about yourself is a sign of emotional maturity and self-confidence. It means you understand that their accomplishments don't diminish your worth, they simply add to the joy and fulfillment of the relationship. When you support and celebrate each other, you create a foundation of encouragement, trust, and unconditional love. You inspire each other to keep striving, knowing that no matter what, you have a partner who believes in you. Celebrating together makes both successes and challenges more meaningful because you're sharing the journey side by side. Be adaptable, change is inevitable. Embrace it together. In every relationship, change is inevitable. Life is constantly shifting, whether it's in our careers, personal growth, or external circumstances. The key to lasting, healthy relationships is the ability to adapt together as life evolves. When both partners are willing to embrace change, they can grow closer, learn together, and face challenges as a unified team. Adapting doesn't mean losing yourself or sacrificing your needs. It means being flexible enough to adjust to new situations, ideas, and challenges. Whether it's a change in routine, a career move, or even a shift in personal goals, being able to navigate change together strengthens your bond. Instead of seeing change as something threatening or destabilizing, see it as an opportunity to learn and evolve together. Adaptability also means being open to each other's growth. As individuals, you're both changing constantly. This means being willing to accept the new versions of each other that emerge over time. You may find that interests, priorities, or perspectives shift, and that's okay. What matters is that you communicate openly and support each other as you both grow. It's easy to fall into a routine or become complacent, but true strength in relationships comes from the ability to adapt. When challenges arise, instead of resisting or clinging to the past, approach them with a mindset of flexibility and collaboration. Together, you can navigate any obstacle and use it as a stepping stone for growth. By embracing change together, you create a resilient relationship built on mutual support and understanding. You stop seeing each other as fixed beings and start seeing the relationship as a dynamic, evolving partnership. And that's where the real magic happens, when both partners are free to change, evolve, and grow individually, and together your connection becomes stronger and more profound with every passing moment. Quality time over quantity. Make every moment together count. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to get caught up in the idea that we need to spend endless hours with someone to have a meaningful relationship. But the truth is, it's not about the amount of time you spend together, it's about the quality of that time. Relationships thrive when you are fully present, engaged, and intentional with your time together. Quality time doesn't mean doing something extravagant or having constant interaction. It means making the moments you share count. Whether it's a few minutes of deep conversation, enjoying a meal together, or simply being there in silence, what matters most is that you are truly focused on each other. When you're fully present, you create lasting memories and strengthen your bond, no matter how much time you have. We live in an age where distractions are everywhere: phones, social media, work and more. To nurture a relationship, it's crucial to disconnect from these distractions and focus on what truly matters each other. Put down your phone, step away from the screen, and create a space where you can connect on a deeper level. This act of mindfulness sends a powerful message: you matter to me, and I am here for you. Remember, it's the small, meaningful moments that often have the most lasting impact. A shared laugh, a kind word, or a simple gesture of affection can do more for your relationship than hours of mindless interaction. These moments create the emotional connection that bonds you, building trust and intimacy over time. When both partners prioritize quality time over quantity, it leads to a relationship that is more focused, intentional, and fulfilling. You don't need endless hours to connect deeply. You just need to be present, engaged, and committed to making each moment together truly meaningful. Communicate openly, express needs, listen actively, and avoid assumptions. Effective communication is the foundation of every healthy relationship. It's not just about talking, it's about truly understanding each other, expressing your needs, and being willing to listen without judgment. Open communication is the bridge that connects hearts and minds, ensuring that both partners feel heard, respected, and valued. First, express your needs clearly and directly. Too often we expect others to read our minds or anticipate our needs, which leads to frustration and miscommunication. If something is important to you, whether it's emotional support, quality time, or space, don't assume the other person knows. Be open and honest about what you need in a way that invites understanding, not defensiveness. Next, listen actively. It's easy to hear words, but active listening requires full engagement. When your partner is speaking, give them your undivided attention. Avoid interrupting or formulating your response while they're talking. Instead, focus on understanding their perspective. Show empathy and reflect back what you've heard to ensure there's no misunderstanding. When both partners actively listen, it builds trust and strengthens the emotional connection. Another critical element of communication is avoiding assumptions. Assumptions can lead to conflict and confusion. We often jump to conclusions based on past experiences or our own biases, but this can cloud the true meaning of what someone is saying. Instead of assuming, ask questions and clarify intentions. Always approach communication with curiosity and a willingness to understand rather than react based on incomplete information. Finally, create a safe space for communication. When both partners feel safe to express themselves without fear of judgment, criticism, or ridicule, they are more likely to open up and share honestly. Make sure that your communication encourages openness and respect, where both of you feel free to express your thoughts and feelings even when they're difficult. When you master open, honest communication, expressing needs clearly, listening actively, and avoiding assumptions, your relationship will flourish. It will create an environment where both individuals feel heard, valued, and supported, making your connection stronger and more resilient. Support each other's dreams, be each other's biggest cheerleader. A truly strong relationship is built on mutual support, where both partners encourage each other to reach their fullest potential. One of the most powerful ways to strengthen a bond is by supporting each other's dreams, goals, and aspirations. When you become each other's biggest cheerleader, you create a partnership that's not just about navigating challenges together, it's about actively helping each other grow and succeed. Supporting your partner's dreams means more than just offering encouragement. It's about being present and involved in their journey. It's about asking them what they need to succeed, offering help when appropriate, and celebrating their progress no matter how big or small. When you show up for their dreams, you show them that you believe in them, that you see their potential, and that you're invested in their happiness and success. This support isn't one-sided. It's about mutual encouragement. Just as you cheer for your partner's dreams, you also need to allow them to be your biggest cheerleader. Don't be afraid to share your ambitions and ask for support. A relationship thrives when both people are dedicated to uplifting each other's goals, whether they're personal, professional, or creative. When both partners feel supported, it strengthens their connection. You're not just in the relationship for the day-to-day moments, you're in it for the long haul, helping each other grow into the best versions of yourselves. This kind of partnership fosters trust, love, and deep respect, creating an environment where both people can flourish individually and together. Support is one of the greatest gifts you can give in a relationship. When you help each other chase your dreams, you create a bond that's not only built on love, but also on shared growth and mutual empowerment. And when both partners actively support each other, they create a relationship that's strong, lasting, and full of endless possibilities.